Have you been submitting your Medicare Advantage encounter data to CMS, hoping and waiting to know which diagnosis from which records make it to an HCC and ultimately impacting your Medicare Advantage risk adjustment payments? Maybe the ICN can be of help. In this video, we'll be discovering the last secret that Encounter Data ICN can help you unlock as you go through your Medicare Encounter Data processes. Hello, Medicare Advantage risk adjustment operators, innovators, and learners. Welcome to the last video series of this month's learning episode. I am your host tutor, Dr. Prince Bewa. If today is your first time joining us, we want to say welcome. If you have been with us over this past month, also, we want to say welcome. Thank you for joining us in learning with us. If you have not subscribed yet, I will encourage you to like, to subscribe, to share, as this helps us to get a wider reach. Today, we are picking up on our final learning series on the Encounter Data ICN, looking at the 4 success secrets that I wish I knew the Encounter Data ICN could help me uncover. We've discussed secret number 1, number 2, number 3, and today is the 4th one that we'll be looking at. We learned that the Encounter Data ICN stands for the interchange control number. And if you have not watched the previous video, I'll encourage you to do so. Encounter Data records, when they get to the CM module, gets assigned an ICN, and we are looking at it from the perspective of a tracking number. Insight number 4, which records triggered risk adjustment HCC and thus payment? The ICN are assigned in the CCEM accepted records as we've been learning. And after they are assigned, they move to the next level. We looked at that from the MAO4, which is getting you information about records that have diagnoses that are eligible for risk adjustment. But now that they are eligible, which actually makes it there, is what the last secret is going to help you uncover. So, for example, we have some files here that we had looked at from the CCEM, right? A plan submits these level of files to CMS, and once these files are submitted, and a bulk of them are um, accepted, right? So we have discussed this as accepted records from the CEM, and then they are assigned an ICN. So all these bunch of records are assigned an ICN. And then as it goes through the EDS process, we discussed this last week, some of the records will be accepted on the MAO2, and some of them will be rejected on the MAO2. Right. And once they are accepted and rejected, the accepted records make it to the MAO4, and this is what we discussed. So the ICN become a thread here to help reconcile that, and ultimately you will get your model output report, and it'll have the HCCs that are here, right? HCCs that are triggered. But guess what? The model output report get the HCCs and the diagnosis that triggers these HCCs from the MAO4, right? And the MAO4 from the MAO2. So from the MAO2, and MAO2, guess what? CCEM. Therefore, utilizing the ICN across all these files can help you to know which diagnoses that were eligible for risk adjustment. And then from that, knowing which diagnoses that triggered HCCs, you can now go back and make a deduction of which ICNs that contains those diagnoses, and ultimately where they were accepted on the MAO002, and ultimately knowing when they were accepted in the CCEM. And even much more, as we discussed the first time, with your submission deadline, with the Julian date that we discussed on, you can also identify from your MAO4 if it was allowed or disallowed based on deadline. So with knowing the ICN and knowing where the ICN goes through the process and linking the ICN across multiple files, one can easily discover the diagnoses that actually made it to a more and also made it to a payment. And that is the final secret that the ICN can help you unlock as you align all these records together. I hope this was helpful to you. I try to keep it very short and simple and sweet. If this has been helpful to you, feel free to like, to share, to subscribe. And you can always download our free resources from the Heals Academy website. As we navigate through it quickly, go to resources, and then you can download any of our free resources. If you are not on our email list, I will encourage you to get on so that you don't miss anything from us. You click on the get, put your name and your email here, and we will send you a signature gift, and then you become part of our Heals Academy family. Otherwise, we will see you next month as we begin a very new episode. Bye for now.